Since the James Bond movies came out in the 1960s, people have been interested in spies. Someone might be willing to pay a lot of money for this camera if it was really used by a secret agent in the field. Someone once saw Corey Harrison pee on a bar stool in front of other people. A few months later, he broke his hand in a motorbike accident. It's not just about the Pawn Stars guy. The story of Corey Harrison is shown here. It is real, painful, and crazy. A man who went through fame, family problems, and falling apart as a person. That night when Corey lost it and the world saw a side of him no one was ready for, let us tell you what really happened. The pawn shop that made a name for itself. Rick, his dad, wasn't rich either. He worked hard all day and into the night to keep their dream alive. Everyone else in the city was gambling away their money, but Rick was buying and selling anything he could. He ran the shop during the day. He took back cars at night. It looked bad. Even though it wasn't exciting, it was the start of something bigger. The kid was very young when he watched it all and took it all in. But Rick didn't tell his son one thing. Something that might make him question everything he thought he knew. Rick thought of this idea. He wanted a real pawn shop. Not just a store that sold used goods and old coins. But Las Vegas had an old rule from the 1950s that said this: there won't be any more loan licenses until the city reaches a population of 25,000. It was written into city law that when there were 250,000 people living in the city, they would give out one more pawn license. Shoo. And when they made this law, there were only 25,000 people living in Las Vegas. They didn't think it would ever happen. Rick didn't give up. He called the city once a week to check the numbers and wait for the right time. And the people were ready when the line was finally passed. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop was officially opened by 1989. Not even close to rich yet, but it was the beginning of something. Over time, the shop grew, and by 2005, they were lending more than $3 million a year. Everyone brought in anything you can think of. There's gold, sports cards, old guns, and other things you wouldn't think are valuable. The interest alone was making them tens of thousands of dollars. It was crazy. The young man was in the middle of everything. He began working. He was already working the night shift when he was 18. He thought he knew what to do. I bought a lot of fake Rolex watches before I learned the hard way that not everyone who came in was telling the truth. That kind of mistake cost money, but it taught me things that I will always remember. People with only hope came into the shop. People who need money for gas to get home. People are selling their wedding rings to get food for their kids. Addicts who want to make some quick cash. He saw everything. He saw the world differently after that. He saw the pawn shop as more than just a business. It showed what life is really like. It will take me back to when I was a kid, that's all. I mean, I was a really sick kid. I was 8 years old when I was diagnosed with epilepsy. During my seizures, I would have so many that I couldn't even get out of bed. Late in the 1990s, Rick tried to get a TV show picked up. There were no bites. After being talked about on a late-night show, the plan began to get more attention. At some point, someone saw the chance. They didn't just sell things, they were real stories. Everything changed when the cameras showed up. Fame put stress on people. He had been having a hard time with his weight for years, because people expected him to look and act a certain way. Doctors told him to be careful. Issues with the heart, diabetes, and a lot more. He made up his mind. Not for TV, not for friends, just for himself. He had surgery to lose weight, and now weighs less than 100 pounds. Some things had to be given up, changed, and hurt along the way. It did save his life, though. Even though he had changed physically, he was still having mental problems. He got married in 2017. The couple split up. It broke because of stress from work, the show, and trying to be happy. Heartbreak hurt a lot. After that, they lost again. They lost again. The old man, his grandfather, died in 2018. It was hard because when you first open a pawn shop, you loan out money all the time and don't get much in return. He had always looked up to him. It hurt a lot to lose him. And it never really got better. The shop felt different after the old man died. He had to do more. More choices, more leadership, and more duty. He was no longer just the funny buddy on TV. It was a tradition he was carrying on. People came in every day with problems, stories, and a need to be helped. He showed up even when things were tough in his own life. Sure, there were also accidents. He was hurt, scared, and stuck in a hospital bed after a scooter accident. He gave a lot of thought to where his life was going. Fame made him money, But it also made people judge him all the time. There was a lot of talk on the internet. Was he alright? Was he still on the show? He was picked on by people who didn't know what he was going through. He stayed at the shop even when things were hard. Didn't run or hide, he knew what that spot meant. To his friends, his family, and himself. It wasn't just a business. There was history, sweat, and getting by. People have the wrong idea about Corey. He's more than just a TV face or a name on stuff. He knew life could be hard, but he kept going anyway. He saw people lose everything but still have hope that things would get better. He fought his own problems and didn't give up. He never said he was perfect. He broke things and went in the wrong direction, but he also grew, learned, and changed. He fought for his health, his family, and his job at the shop. He was strong in ways that most people never see. People watched the show to laugh and be amazed by the strange things they saw. But Corey was making real decisions behind the scenes. He didn't give up even though not every day was a win. Not when there were no cameras around. Not when things were bad. Of course he kept coming because that's what Harrison men do. Things in the shop had histories, but Corey's story hit me differently. What's going to happen next? Everything in pawn shops has a story. Each ring, guitar, and old coin has been through something. Corey is the same too. Corey is the same too. His story is full of toughness, pain, hope, and toughness. A child who saw his family make a dream come true. There's still a man behind the counter who fought to stay alive and be honest. He deals with everyone who comes in. No matter how hard things get, he keeps going because that's the only way to move forward. He does this to honor his grandfather, Ian. And Corey Harrison keeps going in a city that never stops moving, even when it's hot in the desert or there are bright casino lights on. He's not flashy. He's not a fake, he's real. That may be what makes him stand out the most. He wasn't just a guy working at a pawn shop. Around him as a child were old coins, rusty watches, dirty tools, and people whose stories were as crazy as the things they carried. He was involved in deals from a very young age because his family owned the shop in Las Vegas. He learned how to talk people down, spot fake gold, and turn trash into treasure. That was real work. His dad and his grandfather, who everyone called the old man, taught him everything. At first, the shop was small, and just another business on the strip, trying to make it. It's most likely working with the old man, which means working with my grandfather. Finding things to do with him to keep him busy, you know. The whole shop is now run by computers, because it's the 21st century. Things quickly changed after the TV show started. 1 minute, they were dealing with locals, and the next it was tourists coming in just to take shots. The show was huge by the beginning of 2011. More people than anyone thought watched this History Channel show, which was one of their biggest hits. Fame brought lots of money, friends, and stress. On TV, people saw him make deals, jokes, and fight with his dad. What they missed was what happened after the camera stopped. People had to fight for him to be seen as more than just the kid who grew up there. Every move he made felt like it was being watched, even though he knew the shop inside and out. His dad and grandpa were very strict. They believed him, but he didn't give them anything. He had to speak out, risk things that other people would have passed over, spend a lot of money on rare items, and show over and over that he knew what things were worth. He wasn't always right, but when he was, it paid off. Having to know prices wasn't enough to run that kind of business. It had to do with reading people. He got good at it. He knew who was really interested, who was lying, and who just needed cash quickly. He saw con artists, collectors, and nice old women pawning their jewels. He took care of the day-to-day tasks while his dad thought about the bigger picture. 30 employees, constant negotiating, and choices made all the time. He wasn't going with them. He was pulling the load. Fame came with its own issues. People thought he was a rock star, but not all the attention was good. Things went badly on a motorbike trip in 2014. He and a group of biker friends were just having fun, while riding through Missouri. After days of drinking, they went to a bar, but things went horribly wrong that night. He had been drinking all the time. It was clear that trouble was coming as soon as he walked in. He didn't care who saw how loud and messy he was. People looked at him as he tripped and yelled, and acted crazy. Then the surprise came. He took off his pants, and went to the bathroom on a bar stool. No shame and no doubt. It needed to be cleaned up by someone. It didn't end there. He took a stool and threw it after taking pictures with fans, while still only half dressed. That was the last blow. He was kicked out of the bar. people didn't hold back. When they read the story on the internet, critics and disappointed fans are piling on. He didn't hide, he admitted it. They said it was a low point. I'm sorry. He said he didn't want to be that person. It wasn't. But it did happen. Things can go wrong very quickly, as that night showed. A lot of people looked up to him, but sometimes things went wrong for him too. In late that same year, he almost did something even worse. His birthday was coming up, so he rode his motorbike like he had done 1,000 times before to get some things. There was a problem. The bottom of his bike came off and it began to spin out of control. He had no choice. He jumped off to keep from falling. His hands were broken when they hit the ground. He could have gone right to the hospital, but he went to the party first. I didn't want to miss it. Doctor. Coles had to screw 8 metal pins and 2 plates into his hand when he finally went to the emergency room. He wasn't the only one who made a mistake. This was about someone who carries a heavy load that most people never see. What do you really want me to do, Dad? Of course. Me? No, you and the old man own it. You tell me how much to spend at shops. He shouldn't bother me with this guy over the business, the show, the family, or the attention. Let him go. He had to handle everything, and things didn't always go well. Corey wasn't the type to wait around. He did not only want money, he wished to have a share in the store. He truly wished to have a say. That made things worse at home. It was shown on TV during season 7. Corey laid it out. If his dad and grandpa didn't give him 10% of the business, he was leaving. Get something else. A new life or a new job. He was telling the truth. He really meant it. It wasn't greedy. It had to do with respect. He worked hard. Every day he was there. He called people, took chances, and stood by the shop even when no one else did. He wasn't just a worker. He was family. The store should treat him that way. That move made things strange. Fans chose a side. Some people thought he was being over the top. But you know how messy things can get when you work in a family business. Business and love don't always go together. Things get heated up. Grudges from the past don't go away. Corey wasn't afraid to speak up though. He wished for change. He went after it. Corey wasn't done even after everything. From chaos to return, Corey ran the shop even though there was a lot going on. He still came to work every day, made deals, dealt with difficult people, and kept things going. He had many chances to leave. He turned down other shows and offers, but he stuck with the place where he grew up. That tells us something. He also worked on himself behind the scenes. He worked out, dropped weight, and changed the way he ate. Some people noticed. He felt and looked different. He turned a corner and tried to grow up and leave the crazy stuff behind. It was fun to be famous, but it cost a lot. He was done paying for it with blood and shame. Corey's life did not go in a straight line. It went in a lot of different directions. From a child cleaning display cases to a man battling over who owns what. From silly TV scenes to chaos in real life. From broken bones to trust that's been lost. But he kept coming back. That's why his story hurt so much. Not the mistakes he made, but how he kept going even though they happened. He didn't have a plan. He wasn't acting like everything was fine. He let everyone see how bad things were. That could be why fans stuck around. Because life is a mess, people make mistakes. But not everyone gets back up like Corey did. He fell hard in bars, on bikes, and in business meetings. He kept getting back up though. The shop kept going through it all. Things got new. Things that were old were sold. At the curb, tourists waited. Kids asked to sign things. One guy didn't change. He did what he always did. He made deals and ran the place, showing over and over that he wasn't there just because of his last name. He deserved it. He's still at it after all these years, still working hard, still learning, and still facing problems head on. It's not as crazy famous as it used to be. He doesn't mind that the attention has dimmed a bit. He's not interested in the attention. He wants respect, and little by little he's getting it. He doesn't always win in his story. It's about getting better. When everyone is looking, what do you do to hope you trip? He told her to stand up. You keep going. You are responsible for the mistakes you make. Also, you always want to level up. This isn't just a TV guy. Not just dad's son or the kid who works behind has stood his ground. He has kept making something real. His life has been full of tough times, true love, deep pain and big wins. Some things are wrong, but it's honest. That's worth more than some things that are locked up in a glass case. Let's look back at his life. This is the real one, not the shiny one, the rough path he's taken, every twist, turn, and bruise. His story is more than just the pawn shop floor. It has smart moves, heartbreak, public blunders, and private pain. Back when he worked hard behind the scenes, he wasn't just there to get paid. He really did have the best work ethic in the world, you know. He used to tell me that family is the most important thing in the world. Okay, you have to take care of your kids. He had plans. He was ready to work, and he made it clear that he wasn't going to be pushed away. He shut down 5% of the shop. It wasn't just money that win meant. It was a message. He wasn't just a kid in the building. He earned every penny. He is now worth about $5 million thanks to that move. Not only making money, but also going up. Corey's name was in the news again in 2021. He picked up a fancy RV to take on a trip to the California desert. Could have used a break to unwind and catch your breath, but the break turned into a huge mess. William, the owner of the RV, got into a lot more trouble than he expected. It took too long for the car to return, and when it did, it was a mess. Not just some chipped and dents. There are torn off pieces, broken pieces, and trash all over the place, and strange things inside, like eggs and bottles. It looked more like a wild party than a peaceful vacation spot. The damage report said it would cost $30,000 to fix the RV. William also had to cancel 10 trips he had planned for other people. He was very angry, because he lost a lot of money. It didn't work out when he tried to get Corey to pay for the mess. Corey wouldn't cover it, so people called the police and made formal complaints. The people who were with Corey said the RV was already having problems and couldn't be driven. They also said they had insurance on it. William didn't feel better after any of that. Many people didn't believe the reason when they started to talk about it. It seemed way too simple. Not only were things already hard, but Corey's love life was also breaking apart. He married Charlene, the girl he fell in love with in high school. They may have thought that love would get them through everything when they got married in 2009, but it was over by 2015. People never said for sure, but they said it was because of his crazy lifestyle, working nonstop, and maybe even drinking too much. The most important thing was that it broke him. When you lose that much, no amount of money can make things right. In 2017, after a few years, he tried marriage again. This time it was with Karina, who people sometimes call Chi-Chi. It wasn't long after they broke up that Karina gave birth to their son, Richard Benjamin Harrison. The name was in honor of Corey's grandpa. They kept things calm, even though their relationship didn't last. Some people thought they might get back together, but it never happened in public. If something did happen, they didn't tell anyone. Since then, Corey has been seen with other women. People began to guess when pictures of him with a blonde woman showed up online, but he never really said anything. There were no formal stories or big announcements, just rumors that kept going around. They gave us a glimpse into a life that was always changing. So, did Corey want love or do he want to avoid it? Share your ideas in the box below. If you're hooked, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that haven't been told yet. You and Yong Yung.